Hey guys.
Good to see you again. Joe,
Yeah, of course, Joe. Nice to see you again too.
Ontario Tory leader Tim Hudak came by the Free Press to speak to our editorial board, and we asked him if he was surprised about the timing of Dalton McGuinty's resignation.
Dalton McGuinty's resignation was surprising in some senses and not in others. When I mean by not, you know, I sit across from not too far away from the same distance you and I are, Jonathan, in the House every day. I could tell the fire in the belly had gone out. There was no driving agenda, and when you want to be premier, you've got to have a drive to get up every day, right, to push the ideas you believe in. That had gone out. So I thought maybe he'd hang up his skates in Christmas time and then move on. I was surprised, and it's probably too mild a word, blown away that he would quit when he did, and then basically turn off the lights, lock the door behind him, and walk away. Like, just because he wants to quit doesn't mean he can make the rest of us quit at the same time. There's too much work to be done.
Hudak believes that McGuinty resigned when he did to avoid committee hearings on the canceled gas plants the week after. We asked him what the next Liberal leader would do on that front.
There's no doubt that a new Liberal leader will be tempted to keep this buried, and certainly will have whispers in their ear by those who are involved with this to try to keep it buried. I hope the new leader, whoever that is, will resist that, and the first order of business will be to opening up the committee and getting back into session as quickly as possible. We are going to be like a dog on a bone on this, because it could be over $1 billion in cost to taxpayers. And secondly, you know, it's compounded by the fact that the government actively tried to bury documents and keep the costs hidden. So people want to know answers. We should be actually meeting right now on this committee. It would have been a powerful committee that could basically have the powers to subpoena people, from Liberal campaign operatives to cabinet ministers to bureaucrats to those involved in the companies, to come forward and say what they knew and what they knew when. You know, there's an old expression about Nixon, it wasn't necessarily the crime, it was the cover-up that got him in trouble. Right. There was an orchestrated attempt to cover up information. I think people really want to know who gave those directions, why were they followed, and how much it's going to cost us. We've got to send a signal this sort of thing is not on. Yeah. Using over $1 billion of taxpayers' money to buy seats in a campaign and then try to cover it up. So I think an important signal has to be sent. I know that Chris Bentley's not going to run again, Dalton McGuinty's not going to run again, but do I don't? So that
who are you going to call?
Well, we can still call them. We can still call them.
So you can still compel testimony in front of them?
Absolutely.
It was voters in rural Ontario who helped the Tories to gain seats in the last election, and we asked Hudak what he would do on a pressing issue for them, the growth and spread of wind turbines.
I mean, historically in Ontario, municipalities have decided what's appropriate in what parts of their communities. They do their zoning, they do their official plans, they have public meetings so the community can speak out. It was dead wrong and offensive of the Liberal government to strip away the rights of municipalities to have their say on industrial wind turbines that can be 20 to 30 kilometers in length and make a significant difference in the landscape of a community. I mean, look, county governments, local governments can decide, you know, where the hot dog stand is going to be on Canada Day. If a new Tim Hortons is coming to town, or a Walmart, they make those decisions. These things are miles and miles in length. Surely they should have a say so neighbors can participate in what's going to happen in the neighborhood. The consequence of this is that you have no local say in projects. It's pitted neighbor against neighbors, divided churches, Legion halls, farms right down the middle, and has ripped apart in so many communities a social fabric that has made those types of southwestern communities historically strong. You take these steps to wind down the program. One, no more contracts would be signed. It just does not, it's flunked basic economic sense to give out these subsidies up to 10 times the price of power when energy has gone from being a major strength in Ontario now to a major liability. Secondly, we have a problem now with surplus baseload, because we have to take wind and solar projects based on when the wind blows and the sun shines, even if they don't have demand. And as a result, according to the Auditor General, we're paying other jurisdictions, New York State and Quebec, over $1 billion to take our power. So there's a fundamental economic problem. So first rule of business, do no more damage. So no more feed-in tariff contracts. For those that are up and running, providing power, they're up and running, providing power, you let that go. For those that are in the middle, in the queue, I think you have to be that aren't yet hooked up and producing power, I think you have to do a very careful cost-benefit analysis that weighs in the all-in cost. I'm a conservative. And as a Conservative, I respect the sanctity of the contract. So you would follow the contract. Every contract is going to have its clause to get out of a contract. You'd weigh the cost of that with the other costs in terms of paying for the power, the potential of exporting that power, the transmission costs, so the all-in impact.
A new Liberal leader will be selected in January, and an election could come as soon as the following month. For the London Free Press, I'm Jonathan Scher.